Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Soka University of America on this most auspicious occasion, the much anticipated commencement of the class of 2015. We are pleased to announce that today's ceremony is being broadcast to family, friends, and alumni around the world via live streaming through our SUA website. We will now begin our program. Please stand for the 2015 Commencement Processional. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2015 commencement of Soka University of America. Please remain standing as the members of the student chorus sing the national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Now, please welcome the President of Soka University of America, Daniel Y. Habuki.
Good afternoon. Welcome to 2015 commencement ceremony of Soka University of America. On behalf of SUA, I'd like to welcome all of you, especially the family and friends, our graduating students. I'm honored to welcome this year's commencement speaker, Nobel Peace Laureate, Jody Williams. Thank you for joining us. I am very pleased to welcome the platform party, the member of the Board of Trustees, as well as members of our distinguished faculty. I'd like to thank them for their contribution to the university. Thank you very much. I would also like to express my appreciation to the university founder, Daisaku Ikeda, for establishing SUA and for offering the entire community, especially our students, his warm support over the years. In June 1996, Mr. Ikeda visited Cuba after receiving an official invitation from the Ministry of Culture for his honorary doctorate from the University of Havana. During his trip, Mr. Ikeda met with late President of Cuba, Fidel Castro. Given the political climate surrounding Cuba, Mr. Ikeda shared that his sole wish in meeting with Mr. Castro was to transcend division and realize true global harmony and unity. In their dialogue, they discussed many things, including peace, region, and education. However, toward the end of their exchange, Mr. Ikeda asked him if he had a successor. he continued to express the importance of raising capable people and shared this famous Japanese quote, 創業は安く、主制は堅し, meaning, it is much easier to build something than to continue to preserve, perfect, and protect it. I share this history because I believe this is true for the SUA as well. In the word successor, you can find the word success. And in order for something to succeed, we need great successors. I truly feel the success of SUA is manifested in the lives and accomplishment of our alumni. Mr. Ikeda shared a similar sentiment in your welcome message. Quote, who then will ensure that SUA's educational system that fosters humanistic values and global citizenship will continue to flourish in 10, 20, and even 50 years hence. It is the class of 2015, the key players in the second act of pioneering advancement and the first members of the Renaissance at SUA who will prove vital in shaping our future, end quote. Please cherish these words as you leave Soka and embark on your own unique path. As the commencement ceremony concludes your time as a student here, it is also the commencing of your job as a Soka successor. In closing, it is our hope that alumni around the world will always cherish their bonds of friendship so that they can create a strong network of peace. To the class of 2015, congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Tomoko Takahashi, Vice President for Institutional Research and Assessment and Dean of the Graduate School here at SUA. I am very happy to report that we have received a message from our university founder, Daisaku Ikeda, to the class of 2015. A digital copy of the full text of his message has been sent to all degree candidates, as well as to all members of the campus community. You can also access the message at the university's website, www.soka.edu. Allow me now to take the opportunity to share a few excerpts from Mr. Ikeda's message. To the members of the undergraduate class of 2015 of Soka University of America, I wish to express my heartfelt congratulations to all of you on this auspicious day. I consider each of you to be a cherished treasure, a source of enduring hope for humankind. I am deeply appreciative of your efforts undertaken in the spirit of unity and through earnest application of your studies, by which you have together written a new chapter in the history of your alma mater. I am truly proud of all of you. Allow me also to offer my felicitations to your families who are proudly watching over your growth and development, and to your friends who are sharing the joy of this day with you. At the same time, I express my warmest greetings and profound gratitude to our honored guests who have joined us today, as well as to every member of the SUA staff and faculty for the wholehearted care and counsel that they have extended to the students over the past 4 years. As founder, I am particularly delighted that the renowned peace activist and educator, Professor Jody Williams, is attending and will be the keynote speaker at today's ceremony. Thank you very much, Professor Williams. Commemorating this occasion, I would like to offer my encouragement on the following 3 points. The first is that you focus on making the next 10 years of your life victorious as you advance under the banner of friendship. As you know, SUA was founded here in the hills of Aliso Viejo at the start of the 21st century, and the first graduating class set forth from this campus in 2005. In the 10 years since then, SUA has come to be seen by a variety of measures as one of the top liberal arts colleges in the United States. Moreover, numerous distinguished academics and people of insight are applauding SUA for its efforts to foster the warm, noble spirit of humanistic education and value creation. All this has been made possible because the alumni have taken flight into the world with the resolve that they themselves are the young founders of SUA. They have gone on to make their way along yet untrodden paths in their respective areas of endeavor and in their communities. To our great joy, alumni representatives have joined us today at this celebration being held at their alma mater, imbued with memories of youth. Today, you set out from this citadel devoted to the ceaseless cultivation of the wisdom of global citizenship, with hearts filled with pride in this fact, and with confidence in all that you have learned here. Please exert yourselves to the fullest as you take on various challenges in your respective fields of mission over the course of the next 10 years. My next hope for you is that you will take a courageous stand to build solidarity for peace. Professor Jody Williams is, as you know, the founding coordinator of the international campaign to ban landmines, which played an instrumental role in the realization of the Convention on the Prohibition of the Use, Stockpiling, Production, and Transfer of Anti-Personnel Mines, and on their destruction. Initially, such a treaty was seen as impossible. So, what enabled Professor Williams to persist in mobilizing public opinion in support of a treaty to the point that it was finally realized? Professor Williams is a transformative peace activist, an exemplary model of someone who took a courageous stand to build global solidarity for peace. When she initiated the campaign to ban landmines, her efforts ran into a wall of cold indifference of people who refused even to try to understand. From her parents and her grandfather, however, she had inherited an indomitable spirit, and this blazed ever more brightly within her. She has written, quote, "For me, no isn't necessarily the end of possibilities. It's an obstacle to be overcome," unquote. And also, quote, "Calls for change without actions to back them up are largely irrelevant to me," unquote. The essence of Soka education is found in the courageous action we take for the sake of our fellow citizens. One courageous step can open the way for the realization of human possibilities which have never been imagined. It is my hope that, having studied at this university, founded by and for the common people, you will grow into world leaders who truly know the hearts of the people and who take courageous action on their behalf. As proud and valiant Soka graduates, imbued with compassion and wisdom, please continue your advance, forging ever-expanding bonds of solidarity for peace. The third thing I would ask of you is that you become people who can generate hope from within, who believe in the infinite potential of your lives. It was in May of 2011, the year that the class of 2015 entered SUA, that I started composing the lyrics for the song, "The Light of Hope." Fulfilling the hopes embodied in those lyrics, you have indeed climbed the steep hill of learning over the course of the past 4 years. The light of hope that can break through adversity and scatter the oppressive darkness of suffering is to be found within your own heart. All of you possess limitless possibilities in the unseen depths of your lives. Therefore, you must never look down on or denigrate yourselves. You must never allow yourself to doubt the boundless potential existing within your own life. No matter what hardships and trials you may encounter, please know I will always be your ally and supporter. I will continue to watch over your growth. In this world of deepening chaos, each and every one of you possesses a unique mission, a mission to contribute to the happiness and well-being of the people and to world peace. I hope that each of you will, from this day on, work even harder to create the noble path of peace that our times demand. Israel has a tradition, a culture that we can be truly proud of. It is a tradition of caring for others, of equally sharing in our joys and sorrows, of striving to realize the hidden potential within our own lives and in the lives of others. It is this that makes SUA that university it is. It is my fervent hope that each of you will make the sun of the dignity of life shine wherever you are in all of the challenges that you decide to take on. Let me conclude this message by expressing my very best wishes to each of you. May you all, proud and cherished members of the class of 2015, be blessed always with excellent health, happiness, and glorious victory. Daisaku Ikeda, founder, Soka University of America, May 22nd, 2015.
At this time, it is my great pleasure to be able to confer Soka University of America's highest award honor on our commencement speaker. I know Jody received more than 20 honorary doctorates from all over the world, but this is the highest award honor from the school which are built by the people, which is built for the people, is built for the people. I'm very proud to present this highest honor to Jody. Jody, please come forward.
Once again, Jody, we're honored by your presence today. Thank you very much. Allow me to share a few words about today's distinguished speaker, although she's painfully modest, but I'm going to share a few things about her. She's quite an extraordinary woman. Ms. Williams' humanistic compassion and grassroots activism was rooted in her experience as a youth during the time of the Vietnam War. The perseverance of Jody as one of the founding coordinators of the international campaign to ban landmines led to the growth of that organization to around 90 countries. Civil societies and governments working together to eliminate anti-personnel landmines. As the chief strategist, she led the passing of an international treaty banning anti-personnel landmines at a diplomatic conference in Oslo in 1997. Shortly following this wonderful victory, Ms. Williams, together with the international campaign to ban landmines, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1997. This high tribute, she said in an acceptance speech, notable for its self-effacing modesty. This high tribute is the result of the truly historic achievement of this humanitarian effort to rid the world of one indiscriminate weapon, noting that the real, quote-unquote, real prize is the treaty, and more than that, the historic unity of state and society around an issue of concern to all humankind. Along with fellow laureate Dr. Shirin Ebadi of Iran, Jody Williams took the lead in establishing the Nobel Women's Initiative, together with a group of other women who received the Nobel Peace Prize, including Wangari Maathai and Betty Williams. She is a founder and co-chair of the International Campaign to Stop Rape and Gender Violence in Conflict, spearheaded by the Nobel Women's Initiative and launched in May 2012. In 2003, Williams was named Distinguished Visiting Professor of Global Justice in the Graduate College of Social Work at the University of Houston. She's also the recipient, as Danny mentioned, of 20 honorary degrees, among other recognitions. In 2004, she was named by Forbes magazine as one of the 100 most powerful women in the world in the publication of its first annual such list. Please join me in welcoming our new friend, Nobel Peace Laureate Jody Williams. Thank you.
All right, no, stop. Thank you. That's very kind. Scott, are you wearing a watch? Do you wear a watch? Oh, you people. I need to know when I have 5 minutes left. I'll try myself, since you're all clearly out of touch with the beauty of a timepiece. Hey, it is beautiful. It's a gift of my beloved husband. All right, first we're going to give the clap to the students graduating. If you're hot, feel free to disrobe like myself. I thought a puddle of black fainting on the floor would not be inspiring. I pondered this morning many ways to talk, and I'm still confused about how I should start, but I'm going to go with Jane Addams. I'm not sure if any of you know who Jane was. Jane was a woman of wealth who decided to use her wealth for the betterment of immigrants. Yeah, rock on, sister. And people with no money, the poor. She went to Chicago, created the Hull House, and lived with the immigrants. She did not build herself a beautiful mansion and just drop in from time to time. She was one with the people that she was dedicated to helping. She was called at one point the most dangerous woman in America. God bless her. I'm in her shoes. Well, I'm actually barefoot. Jane was courageous. She received the Nobel Peace Prize in, I think, 1933, I don't remember, along with Emily Green Balch, the second American woman, in 47 or something, around World War II. And they received the prize because in the face of World War I, they stood up against militarism and war and convened an international peace conference of women and fought for the right to have ideas different from the masses clamoring for death and violence. That made her a dangerous woman. I move chronologically to my mom. Mom, she's still alive, she's 84. She was born in a town of 1,200 people in the state of Vermont. Yeah, bless Vermont, man, it rocks. It does, it's gorgeous. I'm going there right after here. I'm going to be there all summer. Oh, I'm so excited. I hope you're all envious. My mom, the reason I mentioned my mother is she was 15 years old when the United States of America became the only country in the world to use nuclear weapons against Japan, calling it a move to save the lives of U.S. military. It's interesting to note that they used two different types of nuclear bombs. I would kind of think, dangerously, that perhaps they did that because they were testing which was the most effective. My mother, being 15 and in a teeny town in the middle of nowhere, like most of America, accepted the propaganda of the country about why we did that. To this day, she still believes my father would have died invading Japan if they had not used the nuke. I keep trying to convince her, but I gave up because it makes her so agitated, and I figured at the age of 84, I could chill out and just let her believe what she wants. At the same time, there was a gentleman in Japan, and I can't say his first name, but he's Mr. Makaguchi. Is that right? Makaguchi is, some of his thoughts are part of the philosophy of Soka as I understand. And along with Jane Addams, he has now become, I have to read some of his work and stuff first, but he's right up there with one of my new heroes that very few people know about unless they know Soka. He was put in prison in 43, I'm pretty sure, 43, because he was a thought criminal. What made this man a thought criminal? Because he spoke out against the violence and lust for war. He died in prison, tortured. He died for freedom of thought and freedom of expression, and because he was a thought criminal. I hope every single one of you who are graduating today are thought criminals your entire life. I hope the young women are dangerous women. I hope you never stop until, no offense, gentlemen, you guys seem okay. The men of the world and the male power structure of this world recognizes that women have the same rights as men. The dude with the weird stuff on his hat, that is not enthusiastic clapping for our sisters. Better. We want to see some serious clapping for gender equality. I think that people in power do not recognize that when those who are treated without equality makes them vulnerable. It is only when we care about the rights of every single person that we protect and promote our own. I also want the women here to be dangerous and impolite. Not in a gross way, although I have been known to be grossly impolite. You do not have to follow in those footsteps. My mother asked me not to use the F-bomb. She tells me that it tarnishes my Nobel image. I fucking love my mother. I think I have 5 more minutes. There is a saying that polite women do not help, they just say change history. Polite women do not change history. No one person changes history. When I'm introduced, I get all sorts of agitated because it makes it sound like if I hadn't been there, the landmines wouldn't be banned. That's ridiculous. If thousands and tens of thousands of people around the world had not joined together behind the call to get rid of those weapons, nothing would have happened. Rock on. It's collective power that changes the world. So I want you to be not polite women who help change history. I will end, I guess, with my mom again and my dad. My parents, neither of them were able to finish high school. My father, at the age, I don't know how old he was, after 8th grade, he was required to quit school and get a job to help support his 7 brothers and sisters. Each of his siblings, when they finished 8th grade, had to do the same. My mother saw my father in his white Navy uniform when he came home from World War II, and he was hot. He was. I mean, I'm not, he was my dad. He's now dead. But you know the James Dean look? Oh, you guys are probably too young, but yeah, he was hot. He and my mother ran away and got married. By the time she was 23, they had 4 children. My father was shoveling coal for $20 a week. He regretted his entire life that he did not get the education that you all are so fortunate to have. I know you know that. No, I know you know that. But it's not enough to know it. It is to live your lives in a way that gives back, not just to Soka, but to every human being on this planet. You know, when they introduced me as Nobel Jody, I'm like, so what? So what? It made my parents get off my back. That was awesome. You know, they wanted me to go to law school, be something we can explain. Then I'm the Nobel laureate, man. They, sort of. My mother and my sisters always said when people would get into it too much, you should live with her. Keeping me in my place, but she didn't really have to do that. The title you bear is irrelevant. If you are one of the .com billionaires and you think that your goal is to have the biggest .com house and the most .com houses and the most fleet of airplanes that you can have, you have a problem. You cannot eat money. You cannot drink money. If you do not care about making this planet better for every single person on it, even the people you do not like, because if you only want to make it good for those you like, you just join a political party. Isn't that what politics is about, right? On the Tea Party, I want it to be for all us neocons who hate women's bodies unless they can use them, you know what I'm saying? If you really are living a contributing life, it is a life that thinks about every living being on this planet. It's true. It's true. I mean, I want to be a veterinarian. How did I end up in this role? I don't know. I'll tell you why. I didn't have the money to go to vet school. I'm serious. We didn't have benefactors like you all have here for Soka. It's awesome. It doesn't matter what career course or non-career course you pursue in life. It doesn't matter. Because no matter what you do, you can find a way to contribute to making this world better. It doesn't have to be anything anybody else cares about. Doesn't have to be landmines. Doesn't have to be stopping rape and gender violence and conflict. Doesn't have to be stopping killer robots that I work on. Doesn't have to be LGBTQA. I'm shocked I know all of the letters now. I had to practice. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you do something. I try to imagine a world in which every person who had a passion about something found an organization and just volunteered 2 hours a month, if that's all they could spare from their lives, you know, give up shopping for an hour and go volunteer. Imagine the world. Just imagine. I have every belief that you all from Soka, because of how you have thought here, what you have learned here, which I did hear a lot about, thank you for riding in the car with us, Scott. He really gave me a good sense of, you know, you can read stuff on the website, but it's not the same. I wish I'd had the opportunity. I hope you use it well. It is an obligation to give back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jody. I'm glad she repeated, we all, staff and faculty, students here, we're always talking about. We are right on track. And now I'd like to ask Dean of Faculty, the Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Edward Fiesel, to present the candidate for the undergraduate degree.
Mr. President, before I present the candidates, it is my great pleasure and honor to recognize a special group of people here. Our faculty members are mentors and friends. In their teaching, they inspire. In their scholarship, they set an example of lifelong learning and intellectual inquiry. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially the class of 2015, I invite you to recognize and thank them for all of their special efforts. Would our faculty please stand? Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure and honor to present to you the undergraduate class of 2015. Will the bachelor degree candidates please stand? Mr. President, these candidates have fulfilled all the requirements for the Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts. On behalf of the faculty, I recommend that they be admitted to the degree.
With the recommendation of the faculty, the approval of the Board of Trustees, and by the authority vested in me as the President of the Soka University of America, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto.
As a symbol of your graduation, please move your tassels from the right to the left. I would now like to ask the Dean of Students, Dr. Jay Heffron, to call upon the undergraduate class of 2015.
Today we are presenting degrees to students of the undergraduate class of 2015. Students who will be graduating with honors will be called with one of the following categories of honors: cum laude, 3.5 GPA, magna cum laude, 3.7 GPA, and summa cum laude, 3.9 GPA. Will the candidates please come to the center of the stage to receive their diploma? Claudia Yvette Almada, cum laude. Emily Ihara, magna cum laude. Michiru Saito Aita. Sarah Annie Barnes, magna cum laude. Nelson Byrne. Scott Bauer, magna cum laude. Cassandra Lynn Calhoun, cum laude. Chanel Calhoun, cum laude. Hector Guillermo Castaneda, piano. Isaac Castillo. Gabriel Chagoya. Joyce Joko Chung. Hui Lang Chong, cum laude. Gerald Chew, summa cum laude. Laura Durante Clemens, cum laude. Alexandra Klein, cum laude. Francis Collins. Jordan Hassan Malik Collins Brown. Laura Cosette, magna cum laude. Danielle Nicole Dahlman, magna cum laude. Amoga Dalby. Andrew Daisaku Melo. De Melo. Jessica Delgadillo, cum laude. Ann Din, cum laude. Jacob Henry Edelstein, magna cum laude. Daniel Emerkanian, cum laude. Melanie Brienne San Agustin Escalona, cum laude. Katie Fetters, magna cum laude. Koichi Fukuda, cum laude. Alfredo Garcia. Tomoko Hagiwara. David Harada. Kaya Harvey. Victor Haynes, cum laude. Yukio Ichinose. Mariko Ide, summa cum laude. Chioko Ikeda. Kasumi Ikumoto, cum laude. Cal Irving, magna cum laude. Toko Itaya, magna cum laude. Takayuki Joe, summa cum laude. Shivangi Qatar, magna cum laude. Ashana Kurani, magna cum laude. Min Jun Kim. Kazuyoshi Gregory Kitamura, cum laude. Midori Komatsu, magna cum laude. Toriko Komatsu, magna cum laude. Suzuho Kurihara, magna cum laude. Annie Singh Kwan, cum laude. Crystal Lay, magna cum laude. Wei San Lo, summa cum laude. Melody Lowe. Luisa Fernanda Madrid, cum laude. Yuta Maeda, summa cum laude. Pearl Mar, magna cum laude. K. James Matsuyama, cum laude. Brianna Matthews, summa cum laude. Christian Berra. Connor Mickey, magna cum laude. Kumiko Miyajima. Kiyomi Morikawa. Hiroaki Murakami, cum laude. Kenichi Nade. Yuko Nakajima, cum laude. Alnishi Nathaniel Nelson, cum laude. Nancy Yuan No, magna cum laude. Alita Nguyen. Andrio Nuran, magna cum laude. Kenichi Obata, magna cum laude. Leticia Ortiz Benitez. Ian Zatkin Osborne, summa cum laude. Jeevan Singh Panasar. Nick Peck, cum laude. Madeline Pike. Alisa Kimiko Plain, cum laude. Elijah Price, cum laude. Yoko Rader, cum laude. Audrey Rootvoets, magna cum laude. Indigo Imani Ross. Tessa Rudder. Stephen Rue, cum laude. Sabrina Satter, cum laude. Holland Blanchett Carson Sangster, magna cum laude. Alexander Scott, cum laude. Lance Sierra, magna cum laude. Jamila Marie Snell, cum laude. Sherry Suktia. Megumi Takahashi. Yoshiyuki Takasu, cum laude. Jessica Patrice Torres, cum laude. Kimley Yuen Tran, cum laude. Vin Wong Tran, magna cum laude. Tom Trong, magna cum laude. Lawrence Tsao. Kemi Ueda, magna cum laude. Hidemi Ueno, magna cum laude. Ariana Vasquez, cum laude. Corina Giselle Velasquez, magna cum laude. Jorge Viramontes. Aubrey Rose West, cum laude. Kiana Nicole Woods, cum laude. Kenzo Yamamoto, magna cum laude. Tomomi Yokota, magna cum laude. Haruka Yokotsuga, magna cum laude. Elias Rafael Zelger, magna cum laude. Malahat Zubin. My heartiest congratulations to the undergraduate class of 2015. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you very much. Today's graduating seniors have selected from among their peers 3 students to speak on their behalf. Please welcome first to the stage, Aishani Kurana.
Good afternoon, everyone. When I was notified that I was selected as one of the commencement speakers, I was very excited to write my speech. So the first thing I did was Google how to write one. You would think after 4 years of college I would know how to write, but no, I really had to Google it. So after I read 3 easy steps to writing a successful commencement speech, I followed it religiously to structure my speech around it. The first point in my speech guide read, start with something funny because it's a real attention grabber. So I think I kind of did that, you all laughed. So point 1 checked off. Point number 2 said, pick a theme. Well, this was really hard. But after days and days of deliberating and thinking about what I would really like to say to you all, I have decided to talk about change. Nothing best describes my 4 years at SUA than change. Nothing was constant in these 4 years but change. To be quite honest with you, however, I have always abhorred change. I've hated the feeling of packing my bags at the end of every semester and having to leave for a new destination just when I'm beginning to feel fully adjusted in this place. I never looked forward to change and uncertainty. It was disappointing when life didn't meet my expectations, when I couldn't find security in my friendships, when I received grades below what I thought I deserved, when professors blew my mind and left me wondering at the meaning of life, when study abroad was harder than I expected, and when I couldn't find a dish I liked in the cafeteria because there was only pasta. But reflecting back, I think these 4 years of uncertainty have helped me to embrace change. So today, as we stand on the threshold of another big change in our lives, I cannot say what lies ahead, but I do want to say what I know to be true. I know that the world might make us weak or apathetic and make us cringe at the ignorant bliss it sometimes seems enveloped in. Yes, you will get many raised eyebrows when you will say nonchalantly, well, gender is just a social cultural construction. And yes, you will make some people uncomfortable when you will show your undying passion to fight for economic and social equality, for LGBTQE and human rights, for peace and conflict resolution, for environmental problems, for problems of the world that people have become too comfortable ignoring. But I hope you rise above those raised eyebrows and continue to not give up on yourself and the society we live in. I know that it will be very hard sometimes to make ourselves heard and find a place in this world. It is precisely at this moment that we should remind ourselves that this is not the first time it has been this difficult. It was difficult when we couldn't speak the language in the country we studied abroad in. It was difficult to manage academics with leadership positions. It was difficult to push ourselves out of our rooms and go to the cafeteria and sit with new people. It was difficult to pull that all-nighter in the 24-hour study room. It was difficult to speak our mind in front of everyone in the class. It was difficult to ask questions. It was difficult to write that capstone when all we wanted to do was give up. But we didn't. We transformed from a worrier into a warrior. We took rejection and turned it into a source of renewed determination. We went outside of our comfort zones. We learned to trust ourselves in moments of adversity and forged bonds of friendship with people from all over the world. I know that some of us believe that SUA is a utopia, an anomaly in this real world, and hence this place can only exist on a hill. Yes, the world will not always knock on our doors with a surprise birthday party, thank you cards, and encouragement notes, or be there for a 3 a.m. existential conversation on life, or bring friends who sing carols to us to encourage us when we're working hard in the library. But I also know that we are armored with the values of Soka education and global citizenship, that we have the tools to not only survive, but thrive in this real world. We were trained as critical thinkers to not just be spectators, but problem solvers, doers, and when we don't have the answers, we can ask the right questions. So nurtured have we been by loving our upperclassmen, encouraging professors and supportive friends and underclassmen, that we don't complain when we can't find a place like Soka. Instead, we actually create one. We'll show the world what a culture of care looks like and what appreciation from the heart feels like. The spirit of SUA does not lie in Founders Hall, in our residential dorms, or even in the classes we took. It lies in us. And so wherever we go, we can create a place like Soka. We can bring this utopia that exists on the hill back to the real world, where people actually need it. So today, while I definitely feel the weight of uncertainty, but by believing in what I know to be true, I'm actually looking forward to this change. And the third point in my speech guide read, be creative. So I've written a poem that I would like to dedicate to my beloved class of 2015. To my dearest class of 2015, as we embark today together with bated breaths and wild dreams, uncertain of what lies ahead, but certain that we are the bearers of a new legacy, graduating not from an ordinary school, but from a boot camp that has trained our souls to create revolutions not just in the minds, but in the hearts of the people. We begin today from this place which made our world fall apart in the most fascinating ways, so we could construct it back again with new pieces that resonate with equality, peace, and happiness, to create revolutions not just in the mind but in the hearts of the people. Because you see, history is created through human interaction, like a chain reaction of one individual affecting the other and then another. Today, we give the world not 106 graduates, but 106 ways to change itself. So if each one of us carries the spirit of SUA in our hearts, the time is not too far when we can all create a pace like SUA in this world, no matter wherever we are. Because we, class of 2015, can make the world come to a standstill, because we possess the strength to fight the pessimism of the mind with the optimism of our will, creating waves of change as we become presidents in our fields, setting precedents people have never seen, making sure that the ideals of Soka not remain an ephemeral dream, because we create value by making history. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashani. Now please welcome Yukio Ichinose.
Hello everyone. My name is Yukio Ichinose. I am deeply honored to stand here on behalf of the class of 2015. My dear friends who have shared times of laughter and tears during our 4 years here at Soka. I would like to express my deepest appreciation to all students, faculty, administrators, staff, family members, donors, and the founder of this school, Daisaku Ikeda. With a special shout out to my roommate of 4 years, Daniel Imarkanian. As I think all of my classmates would agree, the 4 or 5 years we spent at SUA was not a vacation in paradise. For me, studying at SUA was my dream since junior high school, but I soon realized that life at SUA, studying in the bridge program, was not going to be easy. Living in a foreign country, away from my family, being unable to speak English fluently, and going to the cafeteria and immediately lining up in the grill section to order teriyaki stir-fry, because there was nothing else I wanted to eat. There were so many times when we put ourselves down and felt useless, and wondered why no one seemed to recognize our hard work, leaving us hopeless before the piles of tasks we faced day after day after day. To make matters worse, my financial situation started to crumble, and I was at risk of having to leave SUA due to outstanding board and tuition fees. However, I was fortunate enough to receive an increase in scholarship funds, which allowed me to continue my studies here. Round of applause for the donors. At the start of our second year, I determined to put everyone else's needs before my own, which was a good thing and not such a good thing. There were so many things to do every day, continuously interacting with and supporting various club members and officers that I never or rarely began my schoolwork before midnight. For 1 full month, I was unable to sleep, and I reached a breaking point. I began to feel unable to ask for help when I needed it. Making things even worse, I began suffering from mental breakdowns at the end of our second year and throughout the third year. I was constantly preoccupied with feelings of depression and constantly woke up with nausea and headache. My hands trembled continuously during classes, and feeling frustrated with the inability to describe what I was going through and fearful of not being understood, I turned away from and stopped talking to most of my classmates. I started searching for purpose in my life. Because putting everyone else first did not work, I did the opposite. So in my third year, my main concern was about myself, and I stopped caring about others, but I still wasn't happy. Throughout my situation, I was fortunately surrounded by my fellow Soka students who left notes and snacks in front of my door, talked with me individually to listen to my struggles and sent messages. I also began appreciating faculty members who placed their trust in our infinite potential by constantly pushing us to go beyond our limits, no matter how we looked or felt or what mistakes we made in class. I learned that in order to contribute to others' happiness, I myself needed to develop and become happy. The 18th century philosopher Giambattista Vico, in a series of orations on humanistic education, once said, quote, "Whoever would desire to be of the great service to the greatest number must provide for himself a capacity for such service," end quote. I now understand that everything I went through, that all my struggles were to build just this capacity. From today, each of us will be representing SUA, and we'll be making history to create a more peaceful world through each relationship we foster with people. As you have inspired to see me, I completely believe in your potential to be a brilliant history maker wherever you will be. If we were not for all your support, I would not have been able to stand here today with a big smile. Thank you. I want to conclude today with a quote from another favorite writer, Victor Hugo. He said in French, "Dans l'adversité, il faut rire. De l'espoir, et encore de l'espoir." Which means that in times of difficulty, we have to cry, hope, hope, and again, hope. Holding on to hope always, let's embark together on the next great adventure. Thank you.
Thank you, Yukio. Also representing the class of 2015, please welcome Karina Velasquez.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Okay. I would like to begin with a quote by Frederick Douglass, American abolitionist and author, who wrote, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress." We all can attest to the validity of this statement, whether it was struggling with academics, homesickness, or through battling our own inner demons. As a result of the various challenges we have faced, we all have become stronger, more refined, and more intelligent versions of ourselves. Today, as we gather to reminisce on our formative college experiences, let us reflect on who we have become and who we are becoming. President Habuki, faculty, family, and friends present and around the world, and to my dear classmates. My name is Karina Velasquez, and I represent just one of the many voices of this incredible class of 2015. In order to be genuinely fulfilled, we need growth. I wonder, though, can we grow without encouragement, moral support, like-minded comrades. I think many of us here would struggle to do so without this kind of backing. Because of our education at Soka University of America, we are taught the importance of understanding the interconnectedness of all life. We learn and recognize that the happiness of others encourages our own happiness, and that the sufferings of others will be our sufferings. Despite the fundamental appreciation and pride I have as a Soka student, I am confident that I am not alone when I say that there have been days when life at Soka did not seem like home. All I wanted was to run far away from this place. Like a fourth-year student once warned me during my first year here, Soka is like a house of mirrors. You will find reflections of yourself everywhere, the good and the not so good. You need the courage to face them both. This insight carried more wisdom than I ever expected. During the lowest lows, as I struggled to believe in my own intellectual capacity, I'd stay up into the wee hours of the morning, staring at a blinking cursor, due to the lack of confidence in my writing ability. During the highest of highs, when classmates and I would share impassioned ideas about the best way to solve the profound global dilemmas of our time, and all the experiences that lay in between, I could not help but reflect on my existence on this earth. Although this was my experience, I wholeheartedly believe that my classmates and I can agree that these are the extremes that unite our Soka experience. The Soka struggle, as I like to call it. And without a doubt, through the good, yet sometimes painful struggles, we have polished our character. Before I end here, I would like to recount a recent experience I had giving a tour to a donor of SUA. When I found out she was a donor, I wanted to make sure to convey the appreciation I felt for my Soka education. In conveying my gratitude for her support, I promised her I would do something worthy after graduation to repay her and all those who supported SUA. She immediately replied, "Karina, just take one step at a time with patience and grace. You'll find after some time, once you look back, you'll see a golden path unique to the steps that you decide to take." I am confident that my struggles will not end here. In fact, they will likely only become more difficult. But none of us here entered Soka University solely thinking about a personal career or an economic goal, right? We share a spirit of concern for others and have studied with this concern as the foundation of our educational purposes. Today is our last day as undergraduates. As we prepare for our future, let's hold fast to the words of Frederick Douglass, remembering that if there is no struggle, there is no progress. And that progress in our own communities and in our world can only happen when individuals like us decide to live a life engaged in and with the realities of daily life. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak on behalf of this most dynamic class of 2015. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your moving speeches, and congratulations to all the graduates. Jody said they're all great. Well, it is now my great pleasure to present the Founders Award. To tell you the truth, we started 106 candidates to select Founders Award, just one person. Then we boiled down to 21 candidates, right? So out of these 21 candidates, we have to find one person. But this one person represents all of 106 graduating students here tonight. Okay. This year's Founders Award recipient is Shivanji. Shivanji is representing 106 candidates.
Okay, everything's falling. So we were told yesterday we have a couple minutes to talk, and we were all like, we don't know what Founders Award is, but yeah, it'll be great. I guess I really wasn't expecting this. There were so many people in our class that are amazing, and they deserve this, and I think I'm taking this on behalf of each one of you guys, seriously. And whatever I am today, seriously, whether we've talked enough or not, it's because of you guys. I love you guys so much. In any lifetime, I wouldn't choose any class but each one of these guys. It's all because of you guys. Thank you so much. And I really, like I said, don't have a speech prepared, but I really want to thank my parents. They're over here. And my sister, she's right over there. And all our faculty and staff, thank you so much. The Board of Trustees, the donors, each one of us wouldn't be here without you guys. So really, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think the most, I'm honored because this is the Founders Award, and I just want to say, I won't take too much more time, but I just want to say that I promise, after all your speeches, that we will do our best. Whatever we do, wherever we go, 2015 is going to rock the world.
As you must have observed by now, we're fortunate at SUA to have such a rich and talented pool of young singers and musicians to To celebrate the graduation of the class of 2015 and show their love, the students will now perform for us, Light of Hope. One second, sorry, before you start. After the performance, we will begin the recessional. For your safety, please remain seated until the music stops and the platform party and the class of 2015 have exited the stage. Directly following the recessional, please join us for a reception outside this Performing Arts Center. Now please welcome the U.S.A. Student Chorus and Orchestra performing Light of Hope.
Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2015. Thank you all for joining us today.